We're still logging in, so I wanted to go ahead and welcome everybody to our letting seminar. Thank you for joining in with us again this morning. Realizing that the letting is actually this Friday, we like to have them at least a week before, but due to the holiday, we got all scheduled just a little bit this month's letting. This is for this Friday's letting. So if there's any DBEs or even prime contractors out there that need support before Friday, our team and the supportive services will be available after this call up until the Friday letting to support you in any needs or any items that may be of need to you. So again, welcome everybody. My name is Sam Ghostin. I'm the director of the Mentor-Protege Program. This is the Project Letting Seminar for November the 30th. Again, the purpose of this letting is to make sure everybody understands all the resources that are available to you and at your use to help you submit bids or receive bids, even if it's a prime contractor for the upcoming letting. So today we'll go over, we'll introduce the supportive services and other contracts that's available to you for this letting. We'll also talk about some of the projects, specific projects that's going to be due in this letting. We've got a prime contractor, Mr. Bulls, who will talk briefly about some of the projects he's bidding on and maybe some of the subcontract opportunities that's available there. And then we'll follow up with closing and questions that you might have going forward. So first, I'd like to introduce the team. Again, I'm Dr. Ghostin with the Mentor-Protege Program. On our team, who you'll be hearing from today is Ms. Ronica Ondoxson, who's our project coordinator, Ms. Christine Lewis, our project administrator. A subject matter expert is Mr. Donald Taylor. We work together in the Mentor-Protege Program going forward, and you'll be hearing from each one of them throughout today's letting seminar. So now if there are any other supportive services on the line, because we might have DBEs all over the state, I want to let them take a few minutes and just quickly introduce themselves. Danielle, you're on mute.
I swear, I specialize in talking when I'm on mute. It's like my thing to do. Good morning, everybody. Hope you guys had a great week last week. I'm Danielle Barnes. I'm the director for the ALDOT DBE Supportive Services program housed at Alabama A&M University. My program assistant is Ms. Natoya Sterling. We're very happy to help anybody that sits in the northern tier of Alabama. We're also part of the DBE Level Up Pilot program, which I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about later. And I will turn it over now to Mr. Donald Mills.
Donald, I think something's wrong with your audio. Okay, Donald, let's see Cynthia. I think I've seen Cynthia on there.
Yes, this is Cynthia Matlock. I'm with EEO Networking Solutions. We are the DBE Supportive Service provider for the Central Region, and also we are the provider for the Business Development Program for the whole state. And then we do have upcoming workshops. You should be getting emails from me regarding upcoming webinars that we have in December. If you have any questions, I'll put my information in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And it's also available. Your emails are on the slides there. So I think we also may have some of the ALDOT administrators on, Mr. Huffman or Ms. Moore, if you'd like to quickly introduce. We may come back around at the end. Donald, did you get your audio?
Okay, I'm back. Is it better?
That's better, yes.
Okay, all right. Good morning. Donald Mills here from the University of West Alabama, where we cover the southeast and southwestern tiers of the state. Ms. Sherry Stoudemire is our assistant director here, and Ms. Linda Delane is our administrative assistant.
Thank you. Thank you. So DBEs, if you're on for the first time, we work collaboratively or together as a group of supportive services. So if it's in your area, you can reach out to your supportive services or the Mentor-Protege to find all the resources you need, hopefully to help you bid and win work in this letting that'll be on this Friday. So please feel free to reach out if you need any support whatsoever to any of the resources that you see there on the page. Mr. Douglas is also used to help for estimating. So reach out to any of us. We'll be more than happy to help. I'm going to turn it over now to Ms. Undoxon as she walks you through some of the jobs for this month.
Okay, let me get myself off mute. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. I'm going to go through these pretty quickly this month because this was a very long letting list. There are lots of projects, so I'm actually covering about, let's get started, and they're all over the state. So let's get started with the first one.
Sorry, I'm having trouble with my buttons.
It's okay. Okay, the first project is Talladega County, 5% DBE goal. This is a bridge replacement. So there are a lot of work types on this project. It's a fairly large project, almost $8 million. You see there's demolition, there's hauling, guardrail, erosion control, bituminous scoring, and there's also steel reinforcement on this one as a bridge project. So if you do any of those work types, there are a long list of tentative bidders that you can reach out to. Almost all of the known bridge builders in the state are bidding on this project. You'll see them all listed there. I'm not going to read them out, but if you need help finding the contact information for those, we can point you to them. Next slide. This project's in Limestone County in North Alabama. It has a 7% DBE goal for the DBEs to bid and to start work. It's 20, Christine. That's it. 20, Limestone County, 7% DBE goal. It's an intersection modification, bracket estimate 3.5 to 4 million. You'll see your work types there. This one has basically, you know, a lot of the same ones that we see on our projects, but this one also has quite a bit of concrete work, curb work, sidewalk, driveway. It does have steel reinforcement, and this one also has electrical lighting. There's some overhead lighting and other things in this intersection project. So if you're an electrical DBE, there are also some items that you could bid this time. Bidders are most of the bidders that you, next slide, please. Project 24 is Marion County. It also is a 7% DBE goal. The estimate on this is a little over Alabama, north We only have one bidder, which is ST Bunn. They're out of Tuscaloosa. They bid almost exclusively in that Tuscaloosa west to the state line area. So if there are any DBEs, 7% on that 10 million is going to be quite a bit of work that they're going to have DBEs for. So if you do any of these work types, demolition, hauling, guardrail, erosion control, bituminous scoring, I would encourage you to contact ST Bunn since they are the only tentative bidder right now. They're going to have DBEs for that 7% goal. So I would contact them.
Ms. Ondoxson, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
First of all, good morning, everyone. This is John from here in Montgomery. DBEs, a 7% goal is a lot of money. Ms. Ondoxson just went over that there's a need for, I made some notes, concrete, steel reinforcing, and some other work types. DBEs, I encourage you, there are 2 7% goals in this letting. She mentioned one project having multiple primes interested in receiving your quote, and one project, only one prime thus far has been indicated to receive your quotes. Regardless, get your quotes, please get your quotes in to all the primes on the first project, and definitely get your quotes in to ST Bunn for that second project with the 7% goal. Do not leave money on the table. This is for your benefit. Please submit your quotes in to all these primes who have been indicated as the primes who are to receive your quotes for that particular project. Please get your quotes in. If you need help in regards to compiling your quote for those projects, I would encourage you to contact your supportive service provider for your coverage area. If you don't know who that is, give me a call here in Montgomery. I can direct you to the provider who's responsible for your coverage area, and they can give you some help in regards to compiling your quote. I want you, ladies and gentlemen, to quote these projects. My office number here in Montgomery is 334-242-6251. Please, if you need help, give your provider a call or give me a call and say, we need help to estimate these projects. Thank you, Ms. Ondoxson.
Thank you, Mr. Hoffman. Christine says my mic is coming in and out a little bit. I'm not sure what's up with that. So if there's something I go over and there's someone that doesn't get that or doesn't hear, just please ask me to repeat it and I will be more than happy to. We are on project 27, Lauderdale County. This has a 10% DBE goal. I believe there's one project in the letting that has an 11% higher than this one, but the 10% is something that we don't see a lot. The bracket estimate is almost $1.5 million. This is Lauderdale County, so this is North Alabama again. If you perform any of these work types, you might want to contact Mid-South Rogers Group out of Tennessee, out of Nashville, but they bid a lot here in North Alabama on ALDOT projects, and Joe Keenum Construction. Next slide. Project 30 is in Montgomery County, 5% DBE goal, but it's an almost $5 million project, so still a lot of work for DBEs. Demolition, hauling, guardrail, erosion control, bituminous scoring. But we always encourage you to look at the entire work type list on these projects if there's one that you're interested in. There may be other things that Mid-South. Project 33 is in Mobile County. There's only a 3% goal on this. It's a almost $2.5 million project. You see the work types there. The tentative bidders are always, these guys bid all the time in these Mobile area jobs, John G. Walton, H.O. Weaver, and Mobile Asphalt. So if you're a DBE in the Mobile area, you definitely need to get to know these 3 bidders because you will see their names all the time on the Mobile area projects. Next slide. Project 40 is in Jefferson County. There's a 7% goal on this project, almost $2 million project. This is strictly kind of just a repaving, resurfacing job, so there are not a lot of work types on this. With this 7% goal, my guess is a lot of it will be done with hauling, but there could be other and we're going to have a discussion about that. So your bidders are Dunn Construction, Mid-South, Good Hope, and Bulls Construction Group. Next slide.
I apologize. I don't know if the problem is my keyboard or what, but I am having delays in getting the slides advanced. I'm working on it.
Okay, there we go. Project 45 is Macon County. There's a 6% DBE goal. Bracket estimate is 3 million to almost 4 million. Work types are there. Tentative bidders, asphalt contractors, Mid-South, and East Alabama Paving Company. Next slide. Project 49 is in Pike County. There's a pretty good goal. This is an 8% goal. Bracket estimate, it's around $3 million. Work types are the ones that we normally see, but also there's a lot more demolition on this project. And also there's steel reinforcement on this project. So far, only 2 tentative bidders, Mid-South and Wiregrass. Project 61 is in Marshall County, 5% DBE goal, almost $3 million project. Not a lot of work types on this one, some demolition, hauling, erosion control. Your tentative bidders are Wiregrass and Whitaker Contracting. Project 68 is Jefferson County. This is another one of the projects with a 10% DBE goal on it. .7 to 3 coalition, which means there will be a lot of hauling of all those demolished items. A lot of erosion control, a considerable amount of concrete work, sidewalk, regular curb and gutter. Also, if you're a underground utility company, there's a lot of pipe installation on this 18-inch to 42-inch pipe. So if you're capable of handling that size pipe installation, you might want to look at this project also. Tentative bidders are listed there. There are a lot of them on this project in Jefferson County. Most of those are local Jefferson County companies. So if you're in that Birmingham central area, I would look at contacting all these.
Miss Undoxon, this is
Next
John.
slide.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
DBEs, I've heard Ms. Undoxon say thus far a common work type needed really, she's mentioned heavily for this upcoming letting, has been hauling and concrete work. If we have, which I hope we do, on the line this morning, DBEs who perform those two work types, please, I implore you to get your quotes in. As you can tell, your work type is always needed, but it's being mentioned prominently for this upcoming letting. Please get your quotes in if you perform concrete work or hauling. Your work type is needed in this upcoming letting to perform in these upcoming projects by these primes. If you got any questions, once again, give me a call about compiling your quote or your DBE Supportive Service provider. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Huffman. This is my last slide. This is Elmore County, and this is the project that has an 11% DBE goal. And even though the bracket estimate is not large, from 1 to 1.3, an 11% goal is still a lot of work, you know, for DBEs to do. This one has the same thing we've been talking about: demolition, hauling, erosion control. This one also has concrete, as Mr. Huffman said. This letting is kind of heavy in concrete work, which normally we don't see a lot of. This one also has utility pipe installation, 18-inch to 24-inch pipe. So if you're an underground utility contractor, I would look at this project. They also have some water mains, some hydrants, water meters to be set. So this is a great project for a DBE utility contractor. There's also not just erosion control that we normally talk about, but there's landscaping on this project, some pretty heavy landscaping. As you see, 650 shrubs, 18 trees, an irrigation system. So if you're a DBE landscaping company in this area, this would be an excellent project to contact these tentative bidders about. Your bidders are Wiregrass, Mitchell's Contract. SB, Triple J, CBNA, and it is. We have with us Elliott Bulls. Donald, do you want to make the introduction, or?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, and if there are any of the DBEs that have questions about the projects that I just covered, if they will contact one of the Mentor-Protege team members, we're happy to provide extra information or to put you in contact with anyone that you need to talk to. Thanks.
Okay, guys. I'm going to start this introduction off a little bit different than what we typically do. I'm going to kind of tie it back to what we just got to talking about and why DBE Supportive Services in the Mentor-Protege Program exists. And the reason being is to help DBEs be successful. Now, what does that mean? Bidding and winning work at ALDOT. Bidding and winning work at ALDOT. And of course, being profitable. And Bulls Construction is one of the companies that have taken advantage of these programs and to date has been very successful. He's also a prime contractor. So I want you guys to really listen to what Mr. Bulls have to say, because guess what? He's been very successful in this program, okay? And he is open to sharing his knowledge about the program and how he has became successful and so forth with anyone who asks. So guys, at the Q&A section, please ask Mr. Bulls questions. Mr. Bulls, Elliott, the floor is yours, sir. Elliott, you on mute?
Hello. Hello, hello.
Hello.
Can you guys hear Elliott?
I can hear.
We hear you. I can hear him.
Yes, yes, I can
Okay.
hear.
All right. I said hello. No one said anything back. So I'm looking at my computer. I know I got a new computer. Technology is a little different these days. So I thought I did it right. I read the directions. So, all right. Well, hello to you all. First, Donald, thank you for the introduction. And I guess first we'll talk about the program and how it's helped me. So when I was introduced to the program, I basically just took advantage of everything they had to offer. OSHA training, site training on what the prime contractors expect. And once I got into working as a subcontractor, I really understood what they expected by actually doing and performing the work after I was awarded the work and actually figuring out how to get work. And that's kind of where it started. And I took it from there and became a prime contractor because I wasn't staying as busy as I would have liked to. So that's where I am today. And as far as what I expect, I basically expect the same thing as a prime contractor as every other prime contractor. I want it to be convenient working with DBEs and subcontractors. So I want them to basically be the program, ready, willing, and able to do the work. Cross all your T's, dot your I's, from the paperwork, beginning phases, to actually performing the work and through the closeout of the project. So I expect the same thing. And if it doesn't happen, we look at someone else. And that's pretty much it. I'm open for questions, but before we go to the questions from you all, I am bidding call number 40 in Jefferson County, which is basically a milling and resurfacing job. And I will be looking for quotes on the milling, the striping, we have some loop wire, so electrical work, and traffic control. So those are the items that I'll be looking for, and I will be self-performing the actual paving myself.
Mr. Bulls, this is John Huffman. How you doing this morning?
And I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm fine. I got a two-part question for you.
Okay.
You look at it through the eyes of a DBE, which you were initially, and now you look at it through the eyes of a prime, which you are now. Looking at bidding through the eyes of a DBE, what are your thoughts on DBEs submitting in quotes to these primes that Ms. Undox has mentioned previously this morning? What's your take on that?
We need some more training. They're kind of from the ones I've seen, they've kind of been incomplete, and it doesn't look like they're taking advantage of the training and the sessions that the DBE programs do. That's what I've experienced as a prime. They're not listing what's all included. They're not making it easy to read. And what I mean by making it easy to read, when you go to this DOT letting, you look at the jobs and you look at the pay items and the quantities and units, your proposal should look similar to this. You need to list your pay item, have your quantities, your units, the description of the pay item, your unit price, and then your total. You need to do the math yourself, total up this entire project and give a complete bid. And if it includes gross receipts tax or bond premiums, you need to state that in your language on that contract. So, and that also goes back to making it convenient for a prime. If I don't see everything I need to see, and if I have questions at the end of your quote, I'm throwing it in the trash because I don't have time to go back and call you and ask you for all this stuff that should have been there. If you were ready, willing, and able to do this work, you should have done the research to make sure your quote was good and complete before turning it in. And if you have questions, this is the time to ask those questions. If you need samples, you contact Donald or somebody with supportive services, and they'll get with me or the many people in this program that are ready to help. And me personally, I I'm here to help because I was in that seat.
That's why I asked that question. DBEs, he just gave you, ladies and gentlemen, a rough checklist of items that your quote should contain, no matter to which prime you send it to. He's looking at it from the eyes of a prime. When he receives your quote as a DBE and those items that he mentioned that he's seeking quotes on, I bet you he's going to be looking for those things. Right, Mr. Bulls?
That's correct.
So DBEs, please, this is your opportunity. If you have questions about what is the elements, what should my quote contain? I've been told this for 15, 20 years. I'm not getting any work, haven't gotten any work or whatever. What should my quote contain that I want to submit to these primes that Ms. Undoxon just mentioned? If you want to ask that basic question, please do, because I want you guys, ladies and gentlemen, to bid these ALDOT projects. So ask the question. Now is the time. We got folks on the line to field your questions.
And
Greg Morris here. I have a question.
yes, sir.
Could we get an itemized list of those items that need to be on there? I'm in the process of learning what is being required from the prime to subs. And so that's what I'm trying to get as much information so I can, make sure when I do stuff, I'm pretty much in the picture,
That's correct. So basically, you want to kind of look at this list and pull up the bid that you're interested in. Make sure you're actually meeting a need. There's no need in reaching out to primes that don't have a need for you on a particular project. So don't waste your time there. But basically, pull up this list, the items that that you can help with and bid on. Make it kind of look like in. Do you have a who's running the screens over here? Do you guys have a? When you go through the website, you click on the call number and you bring up that PDF list of the items. Do you guys have a sample of that?
Hey, Christine, I can get to it pretty quick if you want, or you may be able to.
Or share screen?
Yeah, no, I'm going to transfer the screen to you, Ronica. I'm having all kinds of issues. If I can figure out how to do it.
You know what? I got a lot on my screen. I probably need to share my stuff.
Stop sharing. Okay.
Let's go to the all letting page.
I'm handing this off to you, Elliott.
You handing the screen
I've
off
got
to
it
me?
up, Christine.
Okay.
Oh, Veronica, yeah. Veronica has it up.
Bear with me.
It's okay.
What is wrong? Ronica, I can't, how do I pass it over to you?
Let me just see.
Just showing
I
her.
think
I think it's security.
Yeah,
I
it's
just got- No,
Under
got-
security.
I got it.
document
I got
in
it. You got it, Ronica. I made you a co-host.
okay.
there. Okay.
Right.
And let me see if I can find something.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yes, that's
Did it come up?
what I'm talking about.
Okay, this is what he's talking about, and as a matter of fact, we're going to do a little workshop seminar on this for the Mentor-Protege DBEs on finding all this ALDOT data. But I send the link to the main projects, and then from there you can drill down to this. These are the actual work types on this Project 40 that Mr. Bulls was talking about. So Elliott, just tell me where you want me to go on this, and I'll.
You can leave it right there, just because I'm trying to do a sample based off of this. So what I do is I create an Excel template, and they're all the same. All I do is change the prime contractor's name and address that I'm sending the quote to. Of course, I change all the project information. So if you can kind of look at this, on the top right-hand corner of your Excel spreadsheet, you're probably going to have your company information, where it's coming from. And then in the middle, you'll have the project information. And then the body of it, you're going to have a Excel spreadsheet that looks exactly like this, except to the right-hand side of the description, you're going to have your unit price and your total. And then you're going to have all your items in line. And then at the bottom, you'll have a total cost. And then under that, you're going to have some language that says this quote includes gross receipts, 5% gross receipts tax, and 1% bond premiums, 2%, 3%, whatever your bond premiums will be. And it's fine if you do not have that, because the prime has to bond the entire project, period. So what I do is I don't include 5% gross receipts tax or bond premiums in my sub quotes. So that makes it easier for you. But that language needs to be in there so the prime can go in and add 5% plus whatever their bond rate is. Simple language as in these unit prices include all labor, equipment, and material needed to perform the work. Simple as that. That takes care of a lot of it. Between those two items, there shouldn't be much questions that the prime would have to ask you, unless they're calling another prime to say, hey, who is this guy? Quote looks good, then it comes into all that. That's when the relationship comes into play. And that's when the program can also get you in front of the primes that you're interested in working with. So hopefully that helps you out. My man asked a question about what your quote should look like.
Also, Elliott, I want to chime in on that as well. Mr. Morris, on that first or second slide, you had all the contact information for the supportive services. So depending on what region you're in, after the call, you're going to want to reach out to your supportive services contract. Also, Mr. Douglas, who is a resource for estimating. If you're in, I think, the North and the Southwest region, I think he's a resource that'll help you with your estimates. So that it's really important that you reach out to that supportive services resource as soon as possible after this call to figure out, because you have resources available to you that will help you with that question you just asked, as well as what Mr. Bulls just provided.
Yeah, this is John. I think it being applicable or applying to all DBEs, what Mr. Bulls, and I was taking notes as he was speaking, he mentioned that he compiles a spreadsheet that he changes out the project number and the primes that who's going to bid that project or whatever that's applicable to that project. Mr. Bulls' question, is that spreadsheet user-friendly in terms of it containing all to you the known items that a prime looks for in a good bid? Is that particular tool that you have created something that, from a useful standpoint, containing all the right buttons, as I call them, so to speak, is that something that DBE should be aware of in terms of their quotes being submitted into prime, containing all those right buttons? Is that correct?
That is correct. It's very user-friendly, because the only thing you're going to change is your logo and your company information, and then, of course, the project information. And then you'll change your pay items according to what you're bidding, your quantities, your units, and your description, and then it's just plug and play. Because in your unit price column, once you plug in your unit price, it's going to automatically grab that cell and multiply it times your quantity and give you a total for that unit. So, and then at the bottom, it's going to calculate and total up your entire bid. So it's very user-friendly. It's basically plug and play.
Mr. Huffman, Elliott,
Yes.
This is Donald. That template that Elliott is talking about is one of the templates that we have in our program that we give DBEs to use. And I'm sure the other DBE supportive services have such templates as well.
Great.
So that's why it's imperative. Again,
I think I took that template and I just revamped it and tailored it towards my company. That's all I did.
Yep.
Like I said.
That template is available on our website.
That's fine. I just want to make sure that the information from this bid letting seminar, and that was a great question that prompted all this discussion. The bidding is the key ingredient that cuts across any line. If you don't know how to bid, and the primes, as Mr. Bulls says, receive your quote, and it don't contain things that make it easy for them to analyze your quote, and like he said, they're gonna throw it in the trash. So my job today, one of my goals today is to get across to all DBEs listening to my voice that please heed Mr. Bulls' advice, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure that your quote for the upcoming letting hits all the right buttons, as I say, as I talk, so that when the prime receives your quote, as Mr. Bulls say, it's got everything at a glance for him or her to analyze your quote for possible use by them. Make it easy on yourself. Know what your quote should look like before you send it in.
That's right. Looks like Veronica's pulled it up now, that template.
Hey, this is Greg Morris again. I certainly want to thank you all, the whole crew, and your effort in trying to help us. It's just a problem, you know, a challenge with me maneuvering to get myself positioned to be able to submit bids in the proper format and everything. So I appreciate everything. I'll be asking questions for knowledge sake and just so I can better myself. And
that's fine. That's how you learn.
I appreciate all what y'all doing to help us, you know.
And by the way, Internet Supportive Services will walk you through even on and setting up your bid and stuff like that, all the way to the day that you actually submit your quote. So when you get with them, they can walk you through everything you need to do and then shadow you as you submit your quote as well.
And,
So
and
I
to
have that.
piggyback off of that real quick on the submitting your quote, make sure you contact the primes and they know who you are and when they expect to receive your quotes, because they do have cutoff times. You know, based off of prime experience, they're not looking at your quote after 3 o'clock on Thursday, the day before the letting, unless you're somebody they already use. And a good thing to remember, if they're calling you after 5 on the night before the bid, you got a good chance you're in the ballpark. They don't want to talk to you because they may call and say something simple like, are you sure you're good on all your numbers? Don't get nervous. As long as you know your price and you say yes, that's a good chance they're probably using your number, and they're probably going to tell you they're using your number. So make sure you're good with it. Those are good telltale signs that they're most likely going to use your number. So, but say it again, to reiterate, make sure you know what time, when they want their quotes by. Some say Wednesday. So just know that.
Is that a good rule of thumb, Mr. Bulls, that regardless if it's the December letting or the January letting or March or whenever, is that a good rule of thumb?
It's a good rule of thumb on all lettings, because all primes have the same process no matter what letting. They're out. They started working last week, looking at jobs and comparing their drawings to the items that are listed and doing all their due diligence. So people submitting quotes, you better be doing the same thing.
Mr. Bulls, what did you, I recall, and I've told folks what I witnessed you doing when we were down in Mobile for that Mobile Bridge thing, and we had the USDOT folks down there. And I recall you were asked to come down and speak to the group that night or evening. And I remember that you had drove from Birmingham down there and that you actually drove back that same night. But I recall what you did when you got through speaking in the group and the thing and the event kind of broke up or ended. You took the time to speak to all the primes who were introduced to the group that night. And I saw that you handed those folks your business card, some type of number that they could call you back at. Now, folks, I've been saying this to everybody all along. You have to get these primes to know who you are by whichever way is available. If Mr. Bulls can take time from driving 3.5, 4 hours, then speak to primes and talk to them, let them know who he is and what he do for a living, then certainly the opportunity is there for you. If you do nothing but just mail the primes a copy of your business card with a short note or email them or something like that. Anything that it would take for you to get in the door with those folks, for those folks to know who you are before they receive your quote for a given letting. Don't do things in the dark. At least as much as you could, gotten these primes and know who you are, so that when they receive your quote, some type of way they can set you apart from the other 1,000 quotes that they may receive for that project. It's all part of marketing, folks. It's all part of being in business, knowing how to get business for yourself.
That's
Thank
correct.
you.
That's correct. And also on the bidding process, there's a phone number on the bid list. Most of those phone numbers just go directly to a secretary or somebody. You need to find out what estimator is handling the particular project that you're looking to bid on. Don't just send a email quote to a standard company email, wiregrass.com. That's not, it'll never make it to the individual that looking at that job, because they have multiple, well, all the primes have multiple estimators that do certain projects depending on the region. So you need to find out who's your contact.
Folks, Mr. Bulls is a wealth of information. And I say that because he looks at it through the eyes of a DBE and a prime. So when you come to him with a question about what do I do now, Elliott, chances are he's been there at some point in time to where he is right now from an overall timeline standpoint. So please do not be fearful. Get a man a call. Nothing beats a try but a try. You can't get anything that's sitting there wishing and hoping. You got to try.
That's right. That's right. I have been in your shoes.
Any more questions? Come on now, I know y'all got some questions. You should have some questions. This is all about money and you ladies and gentlemen having access to bid these projects to make money. So I know you guys should have questions. If you don't have questions now, and I know your minds are turning, please call your supportive service provider, or call Mr. Bulls, or call somebody in the UAH MPP. But call folks and ask questions. That's the only way that you're going to learn.
That's right.
So this is Samson. Thank you, Elliott, for that information. And Mr. Huffman, we were getting some questions in the chat, so we did answer some of those. But again, I'll reiterate what Mr. Huffman was saying. After this call, we are still available. So you've got our emails, our phone numbers. Continue to reach out to us, and we are more than willing to help you answer those questions. I also want to acknowledge Ms. Huff, who I think is on the phone, who also helped us in the development of those templates that you saw, and actually, gave us good samples to modify those. So Ms. Huff, we do want to recognize you and thank you for allowing us to develop those templates that we made available to everyone.
I didn't know Miss Huff was on the line. I didn't see her name down there, but that was my mentor, everybody. So I learned a lot as far as the back office and everything I just shared with you all from her.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
And I'll just say, and then, I maybe shouldn't say this, but Elliott wasn't the only mentee. I would just say he was the one that was ready, willing, and able. I'll just leave it at that. And he's been very successful at that information that we've learned. So there's a lot of information out there, but you have to take it and use it and customize it as Elliott has done to make you successful. So he's a good example of, listening to what the primes are saying and learning from that and then customizing it to make his business be successful. So we really appreciate you, Elliott, taking the time out to come back and share with us this morning.
No problem. Thanks for inviting me anytime.
Yeah,
I'm available.
This is Christine. The template that Mr. Bulls was talking about and that that Veronica had on the screen for a little while. I put the downloadable, I put the website, the web page address, and if you scroll down to estimating and bidding tools, there's a downloadable file under that section. So the website is in the chat, and you can get to it just by going to the Mentor-Protege page, going to the resources page on our website, and then scroll down. So it's a very handy tool. And I have just a quick question of either Mr. Huffman or Ms. Moore or Ms. Meadows, if she's on the line. Can you speak very briefly about the process of DBEs becoming recertified or maintaining their certification?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's called the no change affidavit. It's a form that ALDOT sends out to all of its certified DBEs at least 45 days prior to the month in which they originally became certified. And that form basically asks you, have there been any changes in your firm's ownership, management, and control since you were first certified? Meaning, have you allowed somebody to buy ownership interest in your company? Have you sold out to somebody? Have you sold your company to somebody? Because ALDOT recognizes you as the certified DBE. And that's the person that we hold responsible when you go on a project and begin to perform a given work activity for a prime on that job for ALDOT. So you are to sign that no change affidavit form, send in your tax receipts saying that your gross receipts for your firm still meet our 49 CFR Part 26 guidelines. You know, you still, as a DBE, to maintain your certification with us, with ALDOT from year to year, your firm's gross receipts must be within a certain limit. You can't make more money than you are required to or allowed to and still remain a small business. The DBE program is a small business governed program. There are gross receipts limit on your firm to have each year when you sign that no change affidavit. So to answer your question, a DBE must, no ifs, buts, and maybes. They must sign the no change affidavit when they receive that notice from ALDOT. And please keep ALDOT here in Montgomery staff updated with your current address. We don't know when you might move to a different address or whatever. We're going to send you a no change affidavit notification of the address that we have on file. So if nothing else, keep your supportive service provider updated so they can update ALDOT with your current contact info, that being phone number, email address, and mailing address. That is a requirement in 49 CFR that we have to abide by. And check this out. If anything, God forbid, negative happens on a project, one of the first things that the folks here in Montgomery is going to ask me, two things: pull the file, see if they did a no change affidavit. They will legally can be out there working. You have to let us know. You have to complete that form every year. Any more questions about the no change affidavit?
No, not from me. Thank you.
I want to say one more word. I don't mean to take over the conversation, but you guys are talking on some good topics. DBEs, that template that Mr. Bulls referenced in his conversation with you, I would download a copy of that and customize it to fit what I do. If my work type was concrete work, as Ms. Ondoxson mentioned heavily this morning. I would definitely fashion that template to fit my company and me doing concrete work so that I could quote some of these projects that Ms. Ondoxson mentioned to you guys. It's too much money on the table for DBs not to be quoting and getting their shot at some of this money. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Huffman. Veronica, Dr. Goldston, Donald, anything else?
I don't have anything.
Will that be a letting seminar in January 2021?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, this year is kind of this will be our last letting seminar. But what I would say, you know, if you are struggling to get a bid in before Friday, let's go ahead and make our goal set on the January letting, getting a bid in, so we can start now in preparation for that, to making sure you have your processes in place, as Mr. Bulls has stated, so we can get everything ready, so we can increase our chances of getting some work. We just don't want to submit bids. We want to have a good plan in place, so we maximize the opportunities of winning some of those bids. So that's why
Right.
and that's why we want to support you. So that's what we're here for. So please feel free to reach out to our team. Any last questions or comments from any other supportive services online? Do y'all have anything that y'all want to add?
Dr. Goldston, I would like to add one thing based on that template.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
This would also be where you need to list. Keep in mind that the prime contractors, especially if you're doing demolition items where you come in before the prime or after the prime, you need to let them know if you're going to do your traffic control or expect them to furnish it for you. And keep in mind that ALDOT requires somebody to be certified in traffic control work zone safety. OSHA requires somebody to be OSHA certified and to be the spokesperson for that company. So those need to be listed on there if you're able to comply with that, or if you need to tell them you're not going to, it doesn't include traffic control.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Huff. I hope you don't get offended when I say, and I'm dating myself now, you're kind of like E.F. Hutton. When Ms. Huff speaks, people should listen. She's been one of the more successful DBEs. So I think what she just said there, and if you have questions on that, please reach out to us, and if we have to make connections there. Ms. Huff has been a very good resource for us, that, as Elliott says, to help some of the DBEs who want to get their processes more refined and improved, such that they can, win some of these jobs out there. So again, I reiterate that point. Thank you, Ms. Huff, for those comments.
Yes, and as Elliott said, the training provided by the DBE Supportive Services is invaluable. We'll save multi-dollars, and normally, not necessarily 2020, but normally there is classes for OSHA, there's classes for work zone safety, there's classes for QuickBooks, how to work QuickBooks. So it is there for our use, and we need to be taking advantage of that.
All right, thank you. I'm gonna say Danielle, Donald, Cynthia, anything?
Dr. Goldston, I would just like to iterate what Mr. Huffman said. To any of the DBEs who are in need of assistance with bid estimating, definitely reach out to us, and we can make the introduction to Mr. Claude Douglas, who has an extensive background in estimating and bidding, and who worked with DBEs to assist them with not only the bidding and estimating, but also with helping them to network with prime contractors who are bidding on projects.
Okay, thank you.
And ditto, this is Danielle Barnes, ditto what Mr. Mills said. If anybody in the northern region needs any help with anything, especially bidding and estimating, but also what Ms. Huff mentioned in terms of the various topics, QuickBooks, et cetera, we're certainly here for that.
Thank you, Danielle. Cynthia, anything?
Yes, just please have them to give us a call if they need any assistance with bidding and estimating. Mike and I, both of us are available.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Any last minute questions from the participants? We try to get you in and out in an hour, but then the work starts after that. So if there are questions after that, again, reach out to any of us. We'd be more than happy to help. Any last minute comments from my team, Donald, Christine, Ronica?
Just want to wish everybody a happy and safe holiday season.
Same for me. I wish everybody a happy and safe and joyous holiday season to you and your families.
And one way to make that a happier season would be to submit a bid, estimate, and win on Friday.
That'll be a start.
Well, again, thanks everybody for joining in. Look out for our schedule for next year's lettings. Again, we try to keep these short, but provide information and resources. Tell your friends to join in there, as we hopefully we provided some valuable information. I'd like to thank Mr. Bulls again for taking out time to present, as well as Ms. Huff for her comments. And I'll echo the sentiments of we wishing everybody a happy and in this day and time safe, stay safe out there, holiday season. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
Thank you all. Great job.